Look at YouTube commentary on any given day, and you'll find the exact same lazy template. Cracked highways, a giant red arrow, and an all-caps title screaming that China is collapsing tomorrow morning. At the absolute center of this outrage circus is David Zhang and his channel, China Insider. Day after day, David feeds his viewers a cartoonish fairy tale, a dystopian wasteland made entirely of crumbling concrete, total surveillance, and pure misery. But strip away the dramatic Hans Zimmer soundalikes, and this isn't news. It's a glorified propaganda funnel tied directly to the Epoch Media Group, specifically engineered to farm clicks and fleece Western anxiety. Let's tear down his main talking points and expose the sheer hypocrisy behind them. First, David acts like digital tracking is a uniquely Chinese nightmare. Meanwhile, the EU is rolling out IDAS 2.0 digital IDs, and the US, UK, and Australia are forcing mandatory digital verification just to browse basic websites. In America, agencies run PRISM dragnet surveillance, and local police departments buy your private location and biometric data straight off the open market from tech brokers, completely bypassing the Fourth Amendment without a warrant. Calling China a tyranny while living inside a Western digital panopticon isn't analysis. It's pure, unadulterated delusion. Second, David spots a single clip of bad concrete in a country of 1.4 billion people and declares that all Chinese infrastructure is a ticking time bomb. Conveniently, he forgets that the term tofu dreg wasn't uncovered by some brave Western vlogger. It was coined by former Chinese Premier Zhu Rongji back in 1998 to publicly prosecute corrupt builders. Over the last 2 decades, China built over 45,000 kilometers of high-speed rail and 180,000 kilometers of expressways, making up over 60% of the planet's high-speed rail. In a build-out that massive, you're going to find flaws. But if a localized defect means a nation is doomed, what about the Surfside condo collapse in Florida that killed nearly 100 people? What about the Morandi Bridge disaster in Italy? Or the American Society of Civil Engineers giving US infrastructure a C- grade because water mains burst every few minutes and thousands of bridges are practically hanging on by a prayer? Third, David loves driving his camera into remote, forgotten villages to prove the Chinese economy is a total sham. It's hilarious visual fraud. It is the exact equivalent of driving a camera crew straight into Skid Row in LA or Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, filming an open-air fentanyl market and swearing it represents the entire American baseline. The baseline actually matters. The World Bank confirms China lifted over 800 million people out of extreme poverty, accounting for over 70% of all global poverty reduction in human history. Today, over 99% of Chinese villages have paved roads, power grids, and 5G. Filming a poor farm while completely ignoring where it started 30 years ago isn't journalism. It's just scamming your viewers. Fourth, when Western creators talk about Chinese tech laws, they call it authoritarian censorship. But watch what happens when AI threatens actual human jobs. In tech hubs like Hangzhou and Beijing, Chinese courts issued landmark rulings making it illegal for corporations to fire workers just to replace them with cost-saving AI. Under their labor laws, adopting AI is a voluntary business choice, meaning companies are legally required to retrain or reassign staff instead of dumping workers on the street to pad quarterly profits. Compare that to the US under at-will employment, where tech giants lay off tens of thousands of people overnight by email just to pump up their stock price for AI. While anti-China commentators cry about regulations, China's laws actually protect workers and put people over corporate greed. Fifth, when the economic arguments completely blow up in his face, David resorts to the lowest hanging fruit, subtle, tired attacks on Chinese culture and character. And that is where his whole grift completely unravels. A country's greatest asset is human capital. China consistently ranks near the top globally in cognitive scores, academic testing, and work ethic. Look at the data inside the US. Chinese American households consistently rank among the highest earning demographics in the country, with top-tier education and some of the lowest crime and arrest rates anywhere. The work ethic and cultural emphasis on education hold up anywhere on Earth. It is genuinely tragic to watch a native Chinese creator trash his own heritage, his own culture, and his own people on a global stage just to cash checks from his media bosses and farm views from an easily fooled Western audience. China's rise isn't a fluke, and it isn't a house of cards. It's driven by 1.4 billion people who work, build, and innovate every single day, no matter how many pathetic, sensationalist videos David Zhang uploads to stop them.